Hello everybody, my name is Big Large and welcome back to the Kill Count. Today we're covering one of my favorite movies of all time, Chronicle. This 2012 found footage classic was directed by Josh Trank and written by Max Landis, who also gave us Yeesh and Ugh, featuring a pre-TASM 2 Dane DeHaan, pre-Coogler Michael B. Jordan, and a pre-Propaganda Alex Russell. This movie is a time capsule of early 2010s culture. Watching it actually makes me feel nostalgic. In this live-action adaptation of Akira, a social outcast with a camera films his superhero origin stories and his supervillain downfall. Along the way, he shows us his growth as he makes friends and gains powers, and his regression after a traumatic event. Let's see how many noobs get pwned and get to the kills. The movie opens up with the main character's abusive father trying to get into his room while he records. After hearing that he's being filmed, he angrily walks away. Later, he films a sick mom. She speaks lowly of herself, but our cinematographer uplifts and reassures her with his kind words. His cousin Matt picks him up for school and asks about his camera. It hard cuts to him singing Price Tag by Jessie J. Damn, that song was everywhere. What a blast from the past, yo. Then he starts talking about a philosopher he's reading named Alex Schopenhauer, a German pessimist known for his views on willpower. When they get to school, he hangs back to get high in his car. He films all around his school, and a girl hands him a flyer to vote for Steve for class president. He spends his lunch at the bleachers watching the football players and the cheerleaders practice. He stops when one of them tells his creepy ass to stop filming them. When he goes back inside, his camera is stolen and used to film him getting slapped by a bully. When they let him go, they put down the camera and kick it over to him. On the drive home, Matt invites him to a party, then pressures him even harder when he says he doesn't want to go. Right outside his home, he films some hoodlums getting on, who chase him when they notice him filming. At night, while he reviews his footage, his dad walks up behind him, punches him in the head, and throws him onto the ground for not opening the door at the start of the movie. Man, his life sucks. Getting fucked up at home, fucked up at school. His cousin only fuck with him because he has to, and the only person that's nice to him is dying. On the way to the party, Matt mocks Andrew for bringing the recorder after he specifically asks him not to. Inside, he tells him not to follow him around and to do his own thing, which confuses him. He films the ravers, the DJ, and someone else with a camera. The girl, Casey, comes up to him and asks why he's filming. She says she's doing it for her blog. While they talk, Matt slides in and calls the fat lame, spouting some philosophical crap. She clowns on him for looking into it too deeply, and Andy makes fun of him too. Good to see this guy getting humble. Andrew keeps filming a girl, and her boyfriend presses him about it. He throws his drink and spits at him, and Andrew takes it like a good boy. He would have had a way better time if he left that John at home. He goes through bullshit 24/7, so this would have been a great time to turn his brain off and have a good time. He cries outside, and Steve, the class president guy, walks up to him. He tries cheering him up, and he tells him that he found something cool to film. Andrew follows him, and he asks him why he's crying outside and not spitting game to any of the girls inside, and he jokes about having high standards. Our MC is shocked when he hears that Steve still remembers him from the 9th grade. They get to the site and see that Matt's already there. They get close to the hole and hear a noise that sounds like a pulse. Steve jumps in and Andrew begs his cousin not to follow him. Not because he cares about him or anything, but because Uber hasn't been invented and he's got no other way to get home. He follows him down into the wet, dank hole, and Jesus! As they keep walking, Matt stops to mention Plato's cave, because they are literally in a cave. It's like when a kid learns a new word and tries using it everywhere. The noise they heard gets louder and louder, and the camera and their voices start distorting as they reach this heart-looking stone. They start touching it for some reason and start bleeding from their noses and ears. It cuts to black and we resume at what appears to be the following week. Steve throws a ball at Matt in what Andrew calls the ball test. During Matt's turn, he throws a nasty curveball at him that makes him playfully ragdoll. Put this man on the J's! Now he throws it at Andy. He throws it full force at his face, but he stops it with his mind. He holds it for too long, causing his nose to bleed. They still pop off though, because it was cool as hell. In the next scene, they're playing with Lego. Matt tries using his powers to put two pieces together, but he quits when he's unable to. His cousin makes a tower with his powers that Loki makes him sour. While him and the black one gas him up, he destroys the tower, which legitimately offends him. A literal example of him tearing down his accomplishments. Steve gets a call from his girl saying he's been hanging out with them goofballs for the past 3 weeks and she thinks he's cheating on her. Upon hearing it, Andrew and Matt joke about being his mistress. They go back to the site and see that the hole's been covered up. Killmonger mentions that he left his camera down there, implying this is a new one. A ranger yells at them to leave and requests backup. While Matthew admonishes him for using the camera, Steve shows genuine interest in it and has a good conversation with him about it. He asks if he thinks the camera is putting a barrier between him and the people he's filming, and the question stuns him. In the next shot, he moves the camera to his side, removing that barrier while keeping them both in frame. He talks about how his father used to be a firefighter, but got injured, and now he collects EI and drinks all day. At night, he controls the camera with his powers as his father begs on the phone to get his mom some more medicine. In the morning, him and his mom go down to the pier for some quality time. He spent some more quality time with his extended family member at a lake. Noticing the way Steve treats him versus the way he treats him, he asks if he likes him. He says yes, but it wasn't always that way, because before he got his powers and made friends, I assume, he was hostile and standoffish. Andy interrupts him, jokingly calling him an asshole, proving his point. He then asks if they should use their powers for more than just dicking around, and then in the next scene they start researching. Steve gives the definition of telepathy, and Matt gives him an example when he controls a leaf blower to lift some girl's skirt up. What the hell? hell? At lunch, they hang out at his normal eating spot with the camera pointed away from the cheerleader. They chat about how they've been improving and how it's like working out a muscle, and Steve flies some chips into his mouth. Andrew says he wants to go further with it. They go to the supermarket where Andrew uses a red lightsaber to make a woman chase after her cart, while Steve puts stuff in it. Next, they scare a little girl with a teddy bear.
What you looking at, girl? Stay in school.
Matt tries pulling a guy's gum out his mouth and ends up throwing him into a shell. At a diner, they test out some more abilities when Drew stabs Matt's hand, bending the fork. Andrew explains that he just needs to form a barrier around the object he wants to protect, while Steve gets distracted by some tail. I guess his girl did end up leaving him. They hang out in a parking lot and Steve moves an entire car to a different spot while the others geek. They fucking lose it when she looks for her car and it's not where she left it.
Yes, it was the black guy this time.
In their car, they excitedly recount what just happened. A truck behind them won't stop honking at him, so Andrew gives Steve the camera and he shoves it off the road into the same lake from earlier. Steve and Matt dive in and save the guy. They call the cops while Andrew demands that he stops. Later, his big cuz scolds him like a child for injuring someone despite throwing niggas around earlier. He sets up 3 rules: no using it on living things, no using it when you're angry, and no using it in public. It was actually pretty smart. Andrew says they don't need rules, but Steve agrees in the opposite, saying they're getting stronger and they'll be necessary. In his room, he plays with his camera while his dad yells at him. In the car the next day, they talk about what happened last night and Andrew apologizes again. They drive out to the location Steve gave him and they see his car there, but no Steve. He texts them, "Look up," and they see him floating above them. He promises them that it's much easier than it looks. Matt jumps into the air, flutters for a few seconds, and then falls on his face. He tries it again and flips himself back onto the ground. With focus and determination, Andrew slowly lifts himself into the air while everyone cheers him on. Later, they put on some winter clothing and soar through the heavens. They just float around and later play football. While they play, they hear a loud rumble. Suddenly, an airliner zooms past them, barely missing them. He drops the camera and we see Andrew saving Steve, then them plummeting back. He comes to on the ground and shows immense gratitude, with Matt crash landing soon after. All 3 of the friends filled with adrenaline, happy to be alive. They chill and laugh at Steve's place and Andrew films his room full of achievements. They sleep over and Andrew gets real vulnerable, telling him today was the best day of his life. The next day, they talk about traveling using their powers and Andrew passionately talks about how he'd love to visit Tibet. Matt clowns on him and he gets a little peeved. The next scene is from Casey's perspective. She films Matt telling her how he watched her blog and wanted to donate to a cause she talked about. She condescendingly gives back the donation and shits on him for being fake woke. Before she can shut him down, he tells her that he's genuinely changed as a person. It doesn't convince her and you can hear him groan when he shuts the door. Michael and Dane, Steve and Andrew chill on a rooftop and Steve compliments him on being able to use his powers to move his camera like this. He said he tried typing his name and he broke his keyboard, showing that Steve is stronger with his power while Andrew is more precise. He uses his power in a lot of different ways, like discovering flight while his friend deepens his understanding of them. The MC tells Mike that he's his closest friend and that he barely hung out with anyone before, not even Matt. Later, Baby Creed tells him to do the talent show. He says that he's shy and got no talent, but he looks at the camera and validates him once more. The next day, Drew's all fitted up talking to his mom with a big smile on his face. Steve gave him some clothes for the show. He gets stopped by his dad before he leaves and he asks him how he's been getting to school. He notices Matt doesn't drive him anymore, implying he just flies there. Matt films for the talent show and Casey interrupts him, treating him like some meathead, asking why he's doing so. Instead of answering, he tells her to watch because Drew's performance is coming up next. Steve comes on stage to hype up the crowd. Andrew awkwardly walks out with some cars and the crowd boos him. He trips and drops them all and gets into a fake argument with Steve. He then telekinetically moves the cars back into his hand. In his next bit, he juggles 3 balls while his friend drinks from a bottle. He suspends the balls in midair, then steals a drink from him. When he chases after him, he gets bombarded with them. Then he walks on a tightrope. At first, he looks like he's struggling. Then he walks on it effortless. Steve tosses him some balls and then he masterfully juggles them. At the end, he bows before the adoring crowd. Their hearts won over with his incredible act. Later, they go to a party and Andrew is actually excited this time. On the car ride over, Matt says this is the beginning of your downfall. It's an interesting thing to note. Steve walks him through the crowd and everyone gives him high fives and compliments. I'm so glad his life is turned around like this. While he talks to Matt, a girl named Monica, played by his actual wife, approaches him and compliments his act. He films them flirting and her encouraging him to play cup ball. He obviously dominates and she kisses him while Matt cheers them on. He asks Steve where he went and he said she took him upstairs. He then films himself telling his cousin how much he loves him. While he reflects in front of the camera, Casey shows up and asks what he's doing. He rambles into confessing his feelings for her and she interrupts him asking if he wants to get out of here, which is code for let's get it on. He drops the camera off with Steve, who films the door of the room he's getting fucked in. Monica storms out with puke all over her. He walks in and sees Andrew pulling up his pants. He jokes about puke being all over his jacket and says the whole situation is fine, but Drew disagrees and yells at him to get out. The next day, we see Andrew moving the camera and dismembering a spider at the same time. While his wife screams in pain and his son calls for him, Richard looks through his son's room and finds the camera. In the next scene, he calls him selfish for using a $500 camera while he can't even afford medication for his mother. He said he looked through the camera and found him being an embarrassment, saying the people at the party don't give a fuck about him. How much of a hater you gotta be to see him do all that awesome stuff and still shit on him? He probably saw him flying and thought, oh, his broke ass can't afford a car. He yells at him, saying that he doesn't have any money of his own because he spends it all on his mother and school for him. Andrew interrupts him, saying that he doesn't spend anything on school and calls him an idiot. Deafening silence breaks out before Richard flips over the table and puts his hand on his son. He knocks him to the ground and Andrew gets up and uses his strength to push him to the wall. He threatens to crush him before dropping him. As he wails in pain, he brings the camera closer and we cut to Casey filming Matt having a nosebleed, saying that he has a headache too. To calm him down, Andrew flies into the sky during a thunderstorm. Steve shows up, literally trying to bring him back down to earth. When he asks how he found his friend, he said that he heard his voice. This suggests two things. One, they all have a psychic connection, or two, Steve is developing telepathic abilities. I theorized this because Matt didn't mention him hearing any voices like Steve, and he was always discovering new abilities, so this isn't a crazy assumption to make. He notices the bruises on his face and correctly guesses that his father assaulted him. Drew says that they're only friends because of the powers and to leave him alone. His best friend reassures him and reminds him that they're gonna see the world together and have a lot of fun. Our main character doesn't want to hear it though. He yells at him louder and louder until Steve Montgomery gets struck by lightning, killing him immediately. Next time, Andrew picks up his cameras at the funeral. So many people to show up to grieve and pay their respects. The camera passes across his cousin who stares into his soul. After the service, he confronts him on why he hasn't been picking up the phone. He tells him to turn the camera off and starts questioning on his friend's passing. Like, how did they find him in the middle of the field? And how would it make sense that he got struck by lightning? Matt tries to wrestle the camera away from him, but Andrew pushes him off, levitating the camera high enough to where he can't reach it. Matthew gets upset that he's breaking the rules and using his powers in public. He stops pussyfooting around and outright accuses him of killing Steve. His cousin breaks the rules even further and flies off. The next day, he's at Steve's grave, tearfully begging for forgiveness. He knows that he's responsible for the lightning strike and that he lost control of his powers and apologizes. Too little too late, man. As part of his regression, he spends lunch alone at his old spot, not showing his face. He walks down the halls and hears his manic pixie dream girl gossiping about how he spewed chunks all over her. Word seemed to spread fast because his bullies clown on him for it too. He follows the same prick down the halls, calls his name, then rips his teeth out of his mouth. Later in the bathroom, he effortlessly controls the camera while he examines the pearly whites. This nigga be losing his fucking mind, bro. Later at a scrapyard, he talks about how he's an apex predator because he's stronger than everyone else, and says the lion doesn't feel guilty when it kills a gazelle. That's only because they can't feel guilty, bro. He makes his point even more when he crushes the car behind him. At night, before he goes out, Matt flies into his room and yells at him for hurting the guy at school, then threatens him. He checks him by saying he's stronger than him, so there's nothing he can even do. He demands to be left alone and they get into a little squabble. Andrew stops his cousin's fist and he dips. He tries to pick up his mom's medicine, but it's $700! In the next scene, he suits up in his dad's old firefighter gear. He goes out and attempts to rob the hoodlums. They just laugh at him, so he lifts a finger gun at one of them and shoots an air bullet at him. The others try running, but he chases them down and kills 3 of them with his telekinetic abilities. He robs them, then fucks off. It's crazy because his father committed violent acts against him, and now he's dressing up as his father to commit violent acts on other people. He stomps into a gas station and incapacitates the attendant. After getting all the cash out the register, he leaves, but he's stopped when the worker confronts him with a boomstick. He knocks it out of his hand, causing it to go off and explode the whole fucking thing. The movie switches from his camera to security camera footage at the hospital, showing his dad walking into his room. His camcorder is set up, filming his bed while his dad cries at his bedside. He blurts out that his mom died off screen. He complains that while he was looking for Andrew, she died in her bed. He demands an apology from the comatose burn victim. Richard goes to attack him while blaming him for his wife's death, and his son catches his hand and makes the room explode. Matt's at a birthday party right now and gets a nosebleed. He recognizes something's wrong with his cousin and sees something on the news. Him and his girlfriend go downtown to the hospital to see what's happening. Andrew holds his dad upside down by his leg and throws him down, but Matthew catches him for some fucking reason. Then they hop back into his car and GTFO. A little cuz throws a helicopter at them. Damn! A police officer runs to their car to tell them to leave, but Andrew fucking flings him. Jesus Christ. He picks up their car and tosses it onto the Space Needle, the tower they were building earlier. From Casey's POV, we see Drew rip Matt out of his car, causing it to tip over the edge and fall off the tower. Then her boyfriend flies in, saves her, and puts her safely on the ground. A bunch of people in the Sky Needle start filming them. Andrew takes their devices and surrounds them for a better view. Matthew tries calming him down, but his cousin interrupts him and asks why he caught Richard. I'm wondering the same thing! He says they can fly away and live a happy life together, and that he doesn't have to be alone. And he blurts out that he's an apex predator and smashes Matt with a bus into a building. Our MC lands on a different one to catch his breath, but Matt tackles him through multiple buildings. They start throwing cars at each other, and Andrew goofy ass flies into a lamppost and gets knocked out. Matt picks him up and tries dragging him, but the cops show up and make everything worse, as they do. Drew gets up all pissed off, causing one of the pigs to shoot. Matt takes the bullet for him and his cousin crashes out, flipping the cars over. They fly through some more buildings and end up in the town hall, surrounded by police. The junior philosopher begs his family to show the cops some mercy, but he refuses to be told what to do and forces them all back. Seeing no end in his destruction, Matt realizes what he has to do. He grabs the spear from the statue and pierces it through Andrew's chest, killing him instantly. When law enforcement surrounds him, he flies off. Next, we see Matt filming himself flying to the mountains of Tibet, finally showing some respect to his late friend's interest. The scene ends with him apologizing, telling Andrew that he knows he's not a bad person and that he's going to use his powers for good now. 8 people died in the entire movie. With a runtime of 89 minutes, that leaves us with a kill on average every 11 minutes and 8 seconds. The Platinum Pistol Award goes to the main character, Andrew Detmer. It was such a memorable and heartbreaking moment. Ironically, this scene was foreshadowed at the start of the movie. Poor pea shooter is going to be pretty hard to hand out since all the kills were pretty enjoyable, but I'll have to give it to the thugs he threw around. Our Hall of Fame inductee today will most definitely be Steve Montgomery. He was an amazing friend to the one person who needed it. He gave as much patience and help as he could before he died, and the way Andrew fell deeper into despair is proof. Steve had a lot of potential with his abilities too. The dynamic of the group was he was the innovator, introducing the others to flight and maybe telepathy. Andrew was the master, strengthening his abilities, and Matt was definitely there. He's most def gonna be a little lost since the squad mates that carried him are gone. Hall of Shame will not go to Andrew, but it'll go to his piece of shit father. I have a special hatred for abusive parents. He's supposed to be his protector and his guide, but here he is drinking his life away and beating on his son. I understand that he's under a lot of stress, but Andrew definitely did not give his mother cancer, and knocking him around won't do shit about it. Earlier in the movie, we see him pick up a spider and rip his legs off. In the original ending, he's supposed to recreate that with his dad, showing how far below he sees. I wish they went through with it. I would have been jumping and cheering in that damn theater.